My brother hoards all the food, but I'm the one doing the cooking. For the time being, me 22F and my brother 23M. Khenan have moved back in with our parents 49F52M to avoid paying rent while we took an at-home Zoom coding class, which is incredibly time-consuming. 8 hours a day, camera on at all times, which leaves us no time to go to work. We set up home 2 months before the class began, and I've noticed Khenan began putting food in the fridge freezer in bags for days ahead of time. I understand a week ahead of time, but he preps it up to 2 days ahead of time. I told him this was unfair, but he'd say he bought it with his own money, and he can't waste time. But for reasons I can't be bothered to get into, I'm low on money despite working longer than he ever has on games and hygiene and clothes. He plays more games than me. He and everyone else will deny it, but if I have no money, I don't believe he has much either. This Sunday, he was arguing with our mother. From what I understood, she said some of the rice and sandwiches and meat he prepped and froze was spoiled, which upset him as he claimed he bought it only a few days ago and planned on eating it during our next few classes on lunch. She won out, ended up throwing it all away, but said it's okay because he'll have something prepped for the next classes. A few hours later, she tells me to prepare a few rice meat bags and Ziplocs and sandwiches for him. For one, he wouldn't like it anyway. He counts calories and obsessively measures everything, even protein and sauces. He tried to insist on measuring something while I prepared it for him, but I couldn't let that happen. I just made it. And if he really wanted it, he'd just sit the fuck down and fucking eat it. Second, we had no meat or rice. She decided to wait until 6 in the night to demand I drive out, buy chicken and rice, cook rice, and make food for my brother as if she didn't just throw the food he already hoarded for himself away. Third, there's already food and snacks in the house he can prepare or prep from, the day before or the day of, like a normal person. Frozen burgers, frozen French fries, Frank's, chips, cookies, pretzels, biscuits. He used to love at least half of these things, especially fries, but he now eats them rarely, if at all, since this nonsense took him over. I did, ultimately, go to the store to buy what she wanted and other stuff. She decides to claim she gave me money to buy it, giving him the green light to hoard a portion of it. He's still very much pissed about what she did. But when I tried to tell him what he was doing was unfair, he snapped back at me, claiming he barely has time to study, walk, or work out if he doesn't do this, and that I've been giving him too much shit over his body earlier this year. He weighed out to be 155 pounds as a 5'8" man, which is admittedly tiny. He now weighs 140-something. I admit he has a right to be angry about that last thing. But it just isn't fair seeing food I do and don't like taking up space like this, if I can't take from it like everything else.